Hello, hello, hello. Is everybody able to hear me? Can everybody hear me? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'm seeing one thumbs up and one no. So can everybody hear me? Yes or no? Yes, okay, amazing. I really apologize about that. We had some technical difficulties, which I am happy to say that we have finally surmounted. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Of course, we will be recording this webinar, and we will be sending this recording to you via email, either by the end of today or hopefully early tomorrow. So without further ado, let's go ahead and explore the agenda for today. Today, we are going to be going through the free tools worth knowing. And after that, we're going to be getting into the Investing Pro features, namely ProPicks AI, Warren AI, Fair Value, Health Score, Pro Tips, and Ideas. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So before I begin, I just want to give a very brief overview of what Investing.com is for those of you who don't know. Investing.com is a financial news analysis and data aggregation site. We cover almost every single global exchange on the globe. If you'd like to dial in the site for your native language and also for your local exchange, you can go to the flag in the top right corner over here and then simply select the language that is right for you. So this webinar is going to be oriented around where features are on the website and how you can use them to become a smarter investor. It's going to be less focused on technical trading and ins and outs and things of that nature. It's more just to be oriented with the site. So what I like to do on a daily basis is I first come to the homepage. I take a look at the news to notice any top line articles or news blurbs that might be important for my investing. Directly below that, there's overviews of different markets and indices, specific stocks or commodities, ETFs, and cryptocurrencies. And of course, you can scroll left to right with different views, just very briefly, just to get a sense of any major changes that might have happened. And then, of course, if you're an Investing Pro subscriber, you can see the most undervalued or most overvalued stocks according to our fair value calculator, which we're going to dig into how that actually works in just a moment. Again, I like to come in here and see if there's any major changes that have happened, whether that's with the fair value or the financial health. It's just a really good way to surface things that might be important for my investing. And then, of course, we have the calendars, both economic and earnings. We're going to dig into what each of these are and how you can set alerts for them in just a moment. Quickly check out the Pro Picks, which is also an Investing Pro feature, and then, of course, popular screens for the screener. Beyond that, there's one more thing that I want to highlight for you, which is this unit on the right side of the screen, which is called the workstation. It's a really good place to use as a jumping point to either ask Warren AI, which is our financial chat GPT, any questions that you may have, or if you want to quickly jump to the ProPicks AI, jump to your watch list or any alerts that you've set. The workstation essentially follows you around the site. So instead of having to go through any of these breadcrumbs in the top navigation, you can basically do the same thing from the workstation, and it will follow you all over the site. So just wanted to highlight that for you guys. So the first thing that we're going to dig into in earnest is the economic calendar, which you can find at the top navigation at the top of the page. So essentially, Investing.com offers a number of different calendars: economic calendar, holidays to appraise you of whether or not your local exchange might be closed in the coming week or month. Of course, earnings, dividends, IPOs, and expirations. So we're going to dig into the economic calendar here first, and there's a couple things that I want to show you guys. So number one, you can filter for any country or exchange. You can filter for any specific category like employment or economic activity or inflation, and then of course the level of importance. I myself like to lower my noise to signal ratio. I only like to surface the things that are super important on a global perspective, which is why I will designate the level of importance to be 3. I will then click apply. But again, if I wanted to select all of the economic events that are happening, why don't we just go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. We see the list is very, very big. And then if I lower it down to just the super duper important things, we'll see that I have lowered my noise to signal quite significantly. So for today, we see that we have crude oil inventories. If I wanted to explore more about what this particular thing is and why it's important, all I need to do is just click on it. And then it gives me very helpful charts with the forecast and the actual result and what the previous result was as well. So I can then take a look and see what's on the ledger for tomorrow. I see we have GDP quarter over quarter. If I want to take a look over the course of the week, what's happening, essentially what I do is I come in on Monday morning at the top of the week, take a look at what's on the ledger for this week, just so it's on my radar. I might want to take a look at what's going on for next week, or if anything important over the next month, I can go ahead and I can set my date ranges for that. And then let's take a look at this week. And we see that we have GDP quarter over quarter coming up on Thursday. And then we have core PCE price indexes year over year and month over month that are coming up. So let's say that these are important for me, and I want to make sure that I don't miss it. So I can go ahead and I can create an alert around that by hovering over on the right side until the bell icon appears, and then I go ahead and I click on it. And then I can choose to either receive this alert on a recurring basis, as this happens quite often. And then I'm just going to go ahead and check it to send me a reminder between 15 to 60 minutes. Let's say I want to know 60 minutes before. I'm going to go ahead and create my alert. I get the confirmation that it's been created, and we're all good to go. In a moment, I'm going to show you where you can view all of your alerts, including price alerts, so on and so forth, in just a moment. But before I do want to show you the earnings calendar. We can see that today NVIDIA is releasing their earnings, their earnings results. CrowdStrike is also on the ledger for today. Tomorrow we have Dell that's going to be releasing, Autodesk, Salesforce is going to be coming up next week. So a lot of important earnings calls are going to be happening today. I can, of course, again, select any particular country that I want. I can also choose by sector and also level of importance. Okay, let's say I want to be appraised of next week of Dell reporting their earnings. I'm going to set an alert for it. See, it says earnings just for this coming one. Send me a reminder one trading day before, and we're locked in. Now I won't forget about it. Amazing. Just quickly jumping back to the economic calendar, because there is one thing I did want to show you, and that is if you select your particular time zone, you can then, in the filters, select to see how the display time is, meaning the display time remaining until the announcement, e.g. 1 hour, 15 minutes, whatever the case may be, or the hour that it's going to be released at. So let's say that I selected it to show only the amount of time left until this event is going to be happening. I see that I have 11 minutes left. Again, just a cool little way to dial in your preferences based on how you like to be notified of specific events that are happening. Quickly jumping over to dividends, I see Electronic Arts is going to be releasing their dividends report for today. Let's see what's going on for next week. I see Johnson & Johnson reported yesterday. On Friday, Allstate's going to be releasing their report. Take a look at next week. I see McDonald's. So it's really just a good way to see what's currently happening today, take a view of next week, a month, or any particular date range that you would like to view. Great. So in keeping in the same vein of alerts, why don't we go ahead and check out Cirrus Logic as an example. Just as a disclaimer, I have no position on Cirrus Logic in the past 72 hours. This is just for presentation purposes only. So when it comes to setting alerts for stocks, you see the bell icon here in the top right corner. If I go ahead and I click on it, I have a couple of different ways that I could set alerts for it. So number one is price, if it moves above or below. Let's say I want to set this if it moves below 110 bucks, that would be a signal for me to buy. Set it just once. I could also do it based on a price change, either a gain or a loss. Sorry, not a price change, but a percentage change. I could do it based on trading volume, or of course the earnings reports or that we saw earlier, but you can also set it directly through the stock overview page. Okay, so let's say I go ahead and I set a couple alerts. If I want to go ahead and see all of the alerts that I have set, I hover over my profile icon, I click on Alert Center, and then I get a readout of all of the alerts that I've set. So in the past, I set an alert for end phase to move above $41. I see earnings alerts that we set before, specifically for Dell. It's already in here. Any other economic event alerts that we might have set, any authors that I'm following, and I'll show you guys how to follow an author in just a bit. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So again, just to reiterate, if you want to check out all of your alerts, hover over your profile icon and click on Alert Center. You can also do the same thing by clicking on your alerts feed. So these are just the alerts that have been triggered. You can get a readout of all of the alerts that have been triggered. And you can, of course, also see all of your alerts in the workstation that I had showed you guys earlier. Here, so I have alerts. So I can also click on and see any of the alerts that have been triggered directly through my workstation as well by clicking on alerts. So just so that you guys know. Okay, so another thing that I want to show you is news. So you can find news in the top over here. If you hover over it, you can get a breakdown based on different sections. All the way at the bottom here is Pro News. That is a paywalled feature. You need to be an Investing Pro member in order to view that. So why don't we go ahead and take a look. Goldman Sachs downgrades Nine Entertainment to neutral. So all of these are paywalled. What I do want to show you guys here is how you can find different types of news articles. So number one, you have earnings. Again, I like to come here just in case I might have missed anything, and then I'll just quickly read through the article titles to see if anything important arises, or if I want to take a look at different SWOT analyses, and of course, analyst ratings. Again, it's all just a really good way for me to lower my noise to signal and just quickly browse things that I might have missed. All the way on the right here, you have transcripts for those data nerds among you that like to listen to and record every bit of information. You can find the transcripts for all the earnings calls that happened over here. Great. The next thing I want to show you is analysis, which can be found in the top navigation over here. This is also broken down by different categories: commodities, cryptocurrencies, bonds, and what have you. Let's just go ahead and click through to this article that was written by the author Jesse Cohen. I'm a fan of Jesse. I'm actually following him. And if I wasn't, then the button would look like this. And if I wanted to start following and be notified of future articles that have come out from Jesse, all I have to do is just click on the follow button. And now in my alert center, I can go ahead and I can see that Jesse Cohen has been added to my followed authors. Great. So one more thing about articles is that sometimes you don't have the time to actually read through the article. So if you want to save it for later, just go ahead and click on the bookmark icon. We see that it's been saved over here. And if I want to come back to my saved article material, I hover over my profile icon, I click on saved items, and then I have a list of all of the saved items that I have, so I can come back to it later at my leisure. Excellent. So moving on, we are going to take a look at the stock screener. But before I do, I just want to mention that everything here that I've showed you up until this point is absolutely free. So all of these features, the alerts, economic calendar, earnings calendar, all of this is free for anybody that just has an account, or even if they don't have an account, you're going to have an account if you want to set an alert, but you get my gist. So the screener is also a free service that we offer. For those of you that are just new to investing and you don't know what a screener is, essentially it's a way for you to sift through the 8,871 stocks that are in the United States that we're currently covering right now. And based on any specific metrics that you'd like to add to your screen, you then narrow that universe of almost 9,000 stocks down to tens or even single stocks based on things that are important for your investing, right? So let's say you're a novice and you don't know how to get started. The good news is that we have pre-built screens for you. All you need to do is just click on the button here, Explore Screens on the right, and it's broken down based on investing theme, such as value, growth, momentum, or if you're into dividends, you can go ahead and select dividends. So why don't we take a look at a value screen, and let's take a look at value gems with growth, which are stocks with a low PE, positive earnings growth, and healthy profit margins. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click apply. I'm also going to zoom my screen in for you guys just so that's a little bit easier for you. Apologize for not doing that sooner. So basically here are the tabs where a filter has been applied for this particular metric. And you see that our universe of 9,000 stocks has now been narrowed down to sub 400 stocks. So let's see what's actually been added here. Let's take a look at the valuation tab. I see that we're excluding nano caps, and that has a low price to book with a low valuation. We see on the growth metrics, it's positive growth. If I click through any of these, I can dial it into whatever preference that I want. And you'll notice that we've gone from sub 400 to sub 200 now. So as you add more and more metrics, your universe of stocks is going to get smaller and smaller. So let's actually take a look at the results. You can view your results according to different slices. So for insights or valuation, if you're an Investing Pro subscriber, you get the fair value upside. Again, we're going to dig into how fair value is actually estimated in just a bit, but just wanted to show you the screener first. If you want to take a look at returns, you can go ahead and you can do that. If you scroll a little bit farther down, all the way to the bottom, you can select how many results you want to see. Again, I like to lower my noise to signal because I'm ADD, so I just want to make sure that I stay focused on things. So here, if I'm on the returns section, I can see on a week-over-week basis, month-over-month basis. If I click on the overview tab, I can see what the market cap is, PE ratios, fair value upsides, so on and so forth. If you're an Investing Pro Plus subscriber, you can create your own views, which I've done over here. So that's just one of the benefits of being a Pro Plus subscriber. And then, of course, I can download any of these screens to CSV Excel file if I want to continue my research offline. Excellent. So in a nutshell, this is the screener. And beyond that, I would like to now focus on, one moment, please. I would like to now focus on the Investing Pro features themselves. So up until now, we've gone through the free site features. Now we're going to explore what the Investing Pro dashboard looks like. So out of the box, what I like to tell friends and family that ask what is Investing Pro, there's essentially two plans. You have Pro, which is engineered for customers that are looking to speed up their due diligence and also to have access to really good investing data. And then Pro Plus is for customers who are looking for extended data. They have access to a different type of screener, which I'll show you in a bit. That's just, it has access to a lot more data points. And it's really meant for customers who might be day traders or for high net worth individuals that are looking for extended access. And of course, if you're a Pro Plus subscriber, you have access to extended ProPicks AI strategies, which I will show you all of this in just a bit. But at first, I want to show you the watch list. So even if you're a complete novice and you have no idea, you don't know anything about PE ratios or EBITDA or any of that, you do know green generally means good and red generally means bad, again, depending on where you are in the globe. And also you can understand a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being bad and 5 being good. So here is my mock portfolio, and I can see that out of the box, according to our fair value calculator with Cirrus Logic, based on how the current share price is in relation to the estimates that we've done, we've surmised that there's a 24% upside, meaning that in relation to the current share price, we estimate that there is an additional 25% upside to be had here, and I'll show you exactly how that's estimated in just a bit. But I wanted to show you in your watch list how these features and how these benefits are available to you out of the box. Here's the fair value label. We see currently it's undervalued. According to analyst targets, there's still a little bit upside to be had, but it's more in the fair territory instead of the undervalued territory. And then, of course, we have financial company health. Here, Cirrus Logic gets a great ranking. And again, going to break down all of this for you, how we come up with all these labels in just a bit. But again, wanted to show you what's available to you in your watch list out of the box. And of course, these are the default views that come as soon as you subscribe. Risk, efficiency, health. You can optimize all of these, add, subtract, remove, whatever you want to do. So the way that I would add, let's say, let's take a look. I don't know, beta 2-year to my health view is by doing this. Go ahead and save my changes. I can add any metric to any of these views by clicking the plus sign over here. If I want to add more stocks to my watch list, I click the plus sign over here. Let's say that we want to add, I don't know, Enphase. Here we go. Just go ahead and select and save my changes. That should be added in. Yep, there it is. Okay, sometimes I got to refresh the page. Cool. So let's say that I want to add another view. Let's say that I'm a dividend-oriented individual, and I want to add dividend-related metrics. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this view dividend lens. And now we're going to go ahead and build this dividend view. There's a ton of metrics here that we can be tracking. And if I don't know what any one of these are, I just hover over the information icon to the right of it, and it will tell me exactly what the Chowder rule number is, which is a ratio that measures a company's combined growth rate and dividend yield. So as a dividend investor, I'd be interested in knowing what the dividend streak is, what the growth streak is, the payment streak, what their growth might look like over the next 7 years, what's the dividend per share, and the dividend coverage ratio, which is, of course, the cash on hand in order to be able to continue paying this dividend. Excuse me. Let's say cash of upcoming dividend, and we're just going to go ahead and save our changes. And now all of these metrics that I've just piped into the dividend lens are now not only available in my watch list, but they're also available in many other places in the Pro dashboard. So let's say that I'm checking out the portfolio for the Tech Titans strategy in ProPicks AI. I now see that my dividend lens has also been ported over to here. And of course, it is ported over into the screener here as well, and also in the Data Explorer. So when you create a view, it follows you around the site into a bunch of other places. So that's what I wanted to highlight for you guys right now. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the differences between the free version of Investing.com and the paid version with Investing Pro. So let's take our trusty example, Cirrus Logic here. And you see that the instrument overview page is very different than the regular Investing.com page is. And so we're going to dig into what's here on the page right now. So number one, I have the price changes, the 52-week range. And then I have this module called fair value. So what is fair value? Fair value is essentially ranking Cirrus Logic in relation to its sector and peers. And we're taking a look at their current book of business and then comparing that to the current share price. Now, we use up to 17 different models depending on the instrument, depending on where it's located on the globe. Sometimes this information just isn't available. And here are all of the different models that we're using in order to appraise the fair value of Cirrus Logic. So here at Investing.com, we try to be as transparent as possible. And so if I wanted to better understand why EV to revenue multiples is appraised at $130, all I would need to do is just click through on this metric. It then transports me to the models of Cirrus Logic. And here I have all of that information and math that goes into this appraisal available to me in order to provide better transparency for me. I have equity waterfalls. I have all the financial information of the companies that we're benchmarking the performance against. So all of this data is available to you. There are no black boxes here. Another thing is that so again, just to summarize, based on all of these different models, some of them oscillate more depending on this particular metric or model that we're focusing on, and some of them swing the other way. But when we roll all of these 13 models up in relation to the current share price of almost $116, we see that we estimate the fair value of this stock to really be valued at $144, giving it a 24% upside. Okay. Now, let's say I'm an advanced investor and PE multiples doesn't mean anything to me. If I remove it from all the models, you'll see that these numbers change here as well. So you can really dial this in according to your investing preferences. And it's just a really good tool to use when I am first appraising a stock tip that I heard from a friend or family member or read online somewhere. So the first thing I'll do is I'll come here, I'll see what the current share price is, what our fair value calculator has estimated the fair value of the stock actually to be. If it's in the green, I'm going to move forward with further due diligence. So the next step in my quick flyby due diligence process is to take a look at the financial health. So what is the financial health? It's determined by ranking the company in over 100 factors against companies in the information technology sector and operating in developed economic markets. So essentially, what you see here is on a scale of 1 to 5. This is the overall health label, and Cirrus Logic gets a score of 4 out of 5. Why is that? Well, when looking at these 5 health pillars, namely profitability, price momentum, growth, cash flow, and relative value, by rolling all of these up, number one, we assign each of these a grade, also between 1 to 5. And when we roll all of those up, Cirrus Logic gets a 4 out of 5 health score. So now let's say I wanted to better understand why the profitability health was given a score of 4 out of 5. All I need to do is just click on this particular metric, and I see that all of these metrics are rolled up into the cash flow health. So asset turnover, capital expenditures, what its current value is, where it ranks in relation to its sector and peers, and what the score 1 to 5 actually is. And if I want to see how this particular metric might have oscillated over time, I believe all of these are on a 4 or between I mean, obviously the history is based on the data that's available to us, but I think most of these are at least 5 years. And so you can see for asset turnover, this is how Cirrus Logic has performed in this particular metric over time, giving it a score of 2.6. So you can go ahead and you can run through all of these. And again, in the spirit of transparency, we're not having any black boxes here, and we give you the data for you to explore on your own as well. So moving back to the overview page, another part of Dave's quick due diligence trifecta is this segment here, which is called Pro Tips. We'll speak with the marketing team in order to get it its own label, just like financial health and fair value have. But essentially what Pro Tips is it's kind of like a signal system that flags for me things that might be important about this stock. So for example, if it's in favor of the company bullish, you'll see a green bull. And if it's something that's neutral, it'll be in gray. And if it's red, you'll see a red bear. So let's say I wanted to understand why a perfect Petrosky score of 9 is a good thing for the company. I can go ahead and I can click through to that. If I click read more, it tells me what the Petrosky score is, why it's a good thing, and where Cirrus Logic stacks up in relation to its sector and peers. It also provides you charts and historical trends. Management has been aggressively buying back shares. Again, why is this a good thing? When a company actively repurchases its shares, it essentially means they're utilizing the company's capital to buy back its own stock in the market. this is generally a good thing. Here's where Cirrus Logic is. This is the peer average. And you can see that buyback yield for Cirrus is 5.9% and above its peers. So it's really just a cool flagging system. That means that I have to do less work when it comes to due diligence. So when I first get a stock tip, take a look at the fair value. Is it green? Awesome. Moving on to the financial health. Is it green? Awesome. Let's take a look at pro tips. Is there anything that I should be worried about? Cirrus Logic looks pretty good. Again, not endorsing Cirrus Logic, just using it as an example. But we see that 6 analysts have revised their earnings upward for the coming period. Generally, that's a pretty good thing. Below that, I have pre-built financial models that are rolled up into the investing models over here as well. I can view each of these if I wanted to, and you see that all of these are updated as of 10 hours ago, so the data here is pretty fresh. Directly below that, I have some helpful charts with the price history. If I wanted to take a look at how Cirrus Logic performed over the past 5 years, we see that they're up 89%. So that's pretty good. Here's some quick peer benchmark data, market cap, dividend yield, so on and so forth. And then, of course, in the news at the bottom here. So let's say that news is something that's important for me. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to roll it up to the top, and I'm going to put it above fair value just because I like to be in the know with the news. So all of these modules are, you can modify them and move them around. So just hover over them until you see the 3 dots, pick it up, move it around, put it wherever you want. Great. So the next thing that we're going to focus on here is ProPicks AI. So what is ProPicks AI? ProPicks AI is our AI is taking a look at over 100 different metrics in order to assess and appraise a list of stocks and build out a strategy based on a specific theme or investing style. So for example, tech titans are tech companies, be it the S&P 500, studies all 500 stocks and then selects the 20 best. Dominate the Dow, mid-cap movers, top value stocks, which are essentially value stocks. So there's a bunch of different themes here. Not only do we offer this in the United States, we also offer this currently for 11 other countries. The focus here could either be index sector, value, profit, small cap, mid cap. So we break it down into a couple of different themes. And again, ProPicks AI combines real-time data, advanced analytics, Investing.com's proprietary scoring to rate stocks by upside, valuation, growth, and risk. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at an example. Here's our flagship strategy, which is Tech Titans. Here's the chart of the performance and a back test that goes back to 2013. We see that the total return has been pretty significant. The annualized return has also been quite significant, with the risk being medium. You can hover over all these to get more information on what all of these things mean. But what I'd like to do is just show you how the page is built and how you can use it in order to surface new stock ideas. So first here you have picks history. Essentially what it is, it's telling you when any particular stock has been added or if it's been removed. You'll also see the percentage of return at exit. So sometimes you'll see it's been removed and it's green. In this case, it means that our system flagged this stock as having diminishing returns in relation to a different stock that it sees more potential with, which is why this particular stock has been rotated out of the strategy. Just so you know, it's not necessarily a sell signal. It's just that we see more upside with another stock, and we have a limited amount of space in the strategy, and so we want to always keep the stocks in the strategy that have the most upside for you guys. So in this particular case, that's a pretty nice return of almost 25%. And then, of course, sometimes you have some losers. In a perfect world, we'd love to have only winners, but such is the way of the world. So not all of them can be winners. But let's say that I wanted to understand why Viasat was added. So I can see that it was added on August 1st. Just so you know, the ProPicks AI strategies are always updated on the 1st of every single month. We notify you guys with on-site messaging, and we also send you an email once these stocks have been updated for you to go and check them out. So for example, we see that Viasat was added on August 1st. If I click on the rationale tab, then it'll tell me exactly why. It has a strong buy base on exceptional market performance, robust growth metrics. It shows remarkable momentum with a 79% three-month increase, 71% 6-month, and 93% year-to-date price returns. Activist investor Coronade Capital recently proposed spinning off Viasat's defense unit. So essentially gives you all the reasons and the rationale as to why any particular stock was added or removed. So for example, the one that we just saw right here that was removed at a 24% gain, it was rotated out due to relative valuation metrics in favor of more attractive priced alternatives. So you'll always know why something was added or removed. And then directly to the right of that, we have something that's called Pro Research. You can also find this on every equity overview page. And essentially what it is an executive summary of everything about this particular stock. Here in the executive summary, it flags for you that Cadence Design Systems has exceptional financial health, has long-term secular growth trends. You can dig into all the numbers over here. It gives you analyst projections, LTM financials, so you can see how all the money is being used. If you scroll farther down here, this is one of my favorite segments with the bull case and the bear case. Why I should be buying the stock, why I should not buy this stock. Any additional analyst takeaways. It's just a really, and it's also available in a PDF format, so you can print this out and just explore it offline. But it's just a really, really, really good high-level executive summary about the stocks that we're covering. I think we're covering about 5,000 stocks that have Pro Research on it, and as we continue, we're building this out more and more. So just FYI. So directly below the PIX history, we have excuse me, we have the stock spotlight. But again, before I jump to that, I want to show you that on the right top right corner over here. If I wanted to see any of the changes that happened last month, I can go ahead and I can do that. If I want to see what the changes happened in February, I can go ahead and I can do that. Rationales, I believe, were added in June. So we're starting in May. Here, let's just take a quick look. No, May we have it. Yeah, so we have the rationales added starting in May. So just FYI. Amazing. So directly below the PIX history, we have the stock spotlight. It gives you an idea of the outperformers in this particular strategy since they were added, the underperformers. So for example, we see that Gartner, we kind of took a hit on Gartner. But let's take a look at the new additions. So for this particular strategy, Tech Titans, we see that we crushed it with Viasat. It was added at the beginning of the month, and it's increased so far by 85%. Not bad. And then another winner here was Sapiens. Sapiens, of course, went private, but it's still a testament to the system's ability to spot stocks before they pop off. And there was another one that I don't think is in this strategy, but Bosch Health also, I think, is up about 31% since it was added. So it's just a really good way to see the price that it was added at right now. So we can see that Viasat was added at $16.58. And then if I go ahead and I take a look at it, it's popped off to almost $31.50. So that's a very nice increase. Excellent. So this is ProPicks AI. What I do want to show you is some of the other strategies. So let's take a quick look at Germany. We can take a look at Hidden Champions Germany. And here is the strategy. We see that Deutsche Telekom is also up significantly since it was added back in December. It's been in the strategy for quite some time. So the system clearly sees that there is more upside to be had with it. So that's why it's hanging on to it. I do want to highlight here that if you're a Pro subscriber, you get access to one local exchange strategy. And if you want access to all 36 strategies, then you will need to be a Pro Plus subscriber. I have it on good authority from our product team that there are going to be an additional, definitely over 10 countries that we're going to be adding localized ProPicks AI strategies to. I know the UK is one of them, Indonesia, Japan, if I'm not mistaken. and that's supposed to be added within the next month. So we're going to be essentially going to be doubling this offering on the ProPicks AI front. So stay tuned for that. Cool. The next thing that I want to show you guys is Warren AI. So what is Warren AI? It can be found in the left navigation menu over here. So essentially, Warren AI is our ChatGPT for financial investing. So a lot of the times I'll get questions from family and friends. What is the difference between Warren AI and ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude? What's so special about it? Well, there are two things that are pretty special about it. Number one, it's the data that it's connected to, and it's the recency of that data. So for example, ChatGPT browses the entire internet. It's pulling from multiple different sources, and in some cases, those sources might be a little bit old. When it comes to trying to find financial data that you can act on, you want that information to be updated fairly frequently and regularly. And so one of the big upsides here is that Warren AI is connected to the Investing.com data that millions of Investing.com members rely on for their trading. Number two, it's also connected to your watch list. So you can ask it questions directly about your watch list without having to import, export anything. And it's pretty intuitive, so it'll know to ask you which watch list, if you have multiple, which watch list you wanna explore. The other key difference here is the large language model itself. So ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, all of these are general purpose models, some more, some less. Warren AI is specifically oriented around financial metrics and financial questions. It's extremely intuitive. It'll do a really good job at guessing what it is that you're trying to ask it, even if you're purposely trying to be vague. So again, just to sum it all up, Warren AI is connected to real-time data, and also the model itself is oriented specifically for answering financial questions. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and check it out? If you don't know what you want to ask, we have these pre-built prompts that you can explore. So for example, why don't we take a look at Forex trends? Again, with Fed rates potentially going to be being cut soon, that might be something that's interested for me. I could ask it questions about what it thinks things might look like in another 3 months from now, or hypotheticals. So for example, on this particular one, provide a detailed analysis of recent trends in major currency pairs. So, excuse me. It'll give me a summary at the top. It'll generate charts. It'll give me insights in multiple different areas, macro drivers, technicals, hourly indicators, key takeaways. And then it'll usually ask me a follow-up question like, would you like a focused breakdown on emerging market currency? So it's very intuitive. Why don't we go ahead and explore something else? Let's go ahead and do a new chat. Why don't we explore watch list insights? As I mentioned before, it's connected directly to your watch list, so there's no extra work here for you to do. Why don't we do watch list risk analysis? So it'll probably ask me which watch list I'm referring to. Why don't we take a look at Tech Titans June 2025? Let's see what Warren says about Tech Titans picks from June. Okay, there's a wide risk spectrum. Okay, there's a medium risk, makes sense. Here's the risk thermometer. It gives you its own take on each and every single selection. Debt and leverage, volatility patterns, who's the highest risk. It's really quite incredible. It really, really, really is quite incredible. You can also ask it kind of more hypothetical questions. So for example, back when Trump was pressing to cut interest rates to 1%, I was kind of curious what some of those implications might be. So for example, if interest rates are cut to 1%, what impact will that have on the stock market, cryptocurrency, and real estate market? And I asked Warren, if you had to guess which stocks would see the largest increase as a direct result, what would those stocks be? So essentially, it gave me a full-on breakdown of which stocks might benefit from this: growth, tech, financials, consumers, and real estate, crypto volatility, sector standouts, who gains the most, key takeaways. It's just super intuitive, and it really can guess what it is that you're trying to aim for. So we don't have so much time left, and I do want to leave a little bit of time for a Q&A session. But one thing that I did want to highlight for you is that if you are on an equity overview page, so while we're waiting for that to load up, I did want to mention that you can also ask Warren questions about crypto, funds, bonds, anything really. So one thing I wanted to show you here is that in the workstation, if I ask Warren AI if I should I keep this stock in my portfolio? See what it says. So I didn't even say what stock it was. So it knew that I'm on Cirrus Logic right now. It gives me the buy case. It gives me the bull case. It gives me the bear case, price targets, fundamentals, technicals. It really, really, really is amazing. So I highly advise you to go ahead and start digging into that. And then finally, before we end and start the Q&A session, I did want to show you the ideas tab here. So essentially the idea is, if there are prolific investors that probably know a thing or two, it might be wise to at least see what they have inside their portfolios and maybe copy a thing or two from them. So basically you can select investor types. Let's say I want to take a look at hedge funds. I can do 3-month return, 1-month return, or whatever the case may be. Let's say I want to take a look at what let's take a look at what Juniper Investments have in their portfolio. I can see their total holdings value. I can see what their largest holdings are as of their most recent 13F filings, the percentage of the portfolio that this particular stock makes up of the entire portfolio, sector concentration. It's just a really cool way to do idea generation. And of course, if I wanted to do a search, let's say I wanted to see what's in Bill Gates's portfolio, I can go ahead and I can do that. He's got, is that 47 billion in there? Quarter over quarter change, not bad, Bill. And of course, what comprises his portfolio, and of course, its sector concentration. So that essentially ends our webinar. So before we jump into the QA session, I wanted to mention a couple things. So number one, let's recap. Number one, create alerts for economic, earnings, and dividend announcements. Number two, follow authors and save articles for later. Number three, create a watch list and see the fair value and health of your assets. Personalize by creating views, as I showed you before. Use ProPicks AI ideas under and overvalued stocks that I showed you on the homepage at the beginning of the webinar, and the screener for idea generation. Use Warren AI and pro tips to speed up due diligence. And of course, take advantage of our summer sale. It is ending this week. So if you're a pro subscriber, upgrade to Pro Plus at a discount. If you're not yet a subscriber, get in on either Investing Pro or Pro Plus at up to 50% savings. So without further ado, I will go ahead and start taking your questions. So I see we have a question from Captain. The new stock picker you mentioned would be free for all or behind a higher tier subscription. So the idea is like this: we, as a pro subscriber, you have access to all of the US based strategies and one local exchange strategy. Normally, the local exchanges have 1 to 2 more strategies. And if you want access to those strategies, you need to be a Pro Plus subscriber. So again, just to recap, as a Pro subscriber, you have access to all of the US strategies and one local exchange strategy. If you want the extended list of strategies for the local exchanges, you need to be a Pro Plus subscriber. Cool. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to write them in the chat. All right, I'll leave the channel open for another minute or two in case anybody would like to ask a question. So we got a question, will Indonesia ProPicks AI be available for Pro or just Pro Plus? As a Pro subscriber, you'll have access to one of the local Indonesian strategies. If you want access to the additional 1 or 2 strategies, you'll need to be a Pro Plus subscriber. We have another question. What are the frequently used features you would recommend? They are right here. I would recommend to use fair value and health in order to appraise your assets that are in your portfolio. I would use ProPicks AI ideas and under and overvalued stocks in the screener for idea generation. And then, of course, I would use Warren AI, and I frequently do, to ask it investing questions, and also pro tips to help speed up my due diligence. Great. All right. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.